Hey, howdy, it's me, the new non-manic Mark, NMM. Coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the Art Villa found somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest. And today I'm coming to you with, I'm a few days late, but I didn't have any records and I got a few records. So I'm coming to you with stories, one story, and a few records. The story, I told it once this morning. I got up and I came down, I told the story, and there was no energy because I just got out of bed. So it lacked energy. Now I have energy. More energy. Okay. So the story, what's the story? The story is a long story about buying vehicles. I'm going to try to condense it this time because it lasted way too long the last time. But first, let me start with this. One of the records I got in the mail, it came with like 4 other records. And so this is just, if there's anybody out there that's selling records on eBay and doesn't know this yet, that's going to watch my video, which is probably not one single person. You take the records out of the jacket, okay? You don't ship the records in the jacket, because sometimes they slide around and they rip, they come, okay? But there's another reason, and then you put an extra piece of cardboard on top of this inside the box. Why? Because something, the UPS hit this box and broke this record. It was one of the few of records. So I'm still going to play a sample from it. Well, the non-manic Mark, hey, non-manic Mark, you say that you just come down here and make videos and you don't even know what's on the record. Well, in this case, since I've already made the video once today and decided to make it again today because the first video lacked energy, I know something about the records, so I can feature one song on this. That's not in part of the cracked record area. I couldn't believe it. And so the seller sends me another record that's like very good minus. I don't even know why people do the minus or the plus. If you do that, if you grade a record like very good with a minus or a plus, you better really effing know what you're talking about, because then you're dealing with minute differences that another person's idea of very good plus or minus is going to be different. All right. In my head, the record was graded at good minus. If I want to split hairs, I wouldn't have even said it was good. It wasn't poor, but it was just good. Hardly. Okay, so there you go. Good minus. That's in here too. I'm holding this one up first. I'm saving that one to the last. It's a great cover. So when you not to be a bitch, and here's the thing. The other thing is, I got to finish the story. When you ship records, always ship them in plastic, because you never know where they're going. They're going to sit in a mailbox or on a porch, and there's going to be a little rain or a little moisture or something going to go through your box and get in the records, and it's going to cause you as a seller problems. It's worth doing things right up front, like putting the extra sheet of cardboard in, which would have saved this record. Anyway, so I don't like the bitch. I like the bitch here. But I don't, that's not negative feedback and starting something with the buyer, so I just send a little note. Hey, just FYI, you know. Then I didn't even tell them, you should pack better, because nobody wants, everybody's like, oh, UPS, no! It was your fault. You took the risk, it's your fault, and you didn't bother even to look at the records that you're grading, apparently. Okay. Wow, that was like a typical record collector's bitch session right there. Rant, that's what they call it. It's rant. It's not bitching, it's rant. When it's here, it's ranting. All right. Let's go on to the next rant. The next rant has to do with going to a car dealership, which I haven't done since 1999, when I dealt with the car dealership when my wife bought a truck, which I still have at least for a few days, 1999 Dodge Ram. That was an unpleasant experience, and to help shorten this video, I'm not going to go into what that experience was, but the last vehicle that I bought new was in 1998. That's how long it's been. 1999, I helped my wife buy her truck. That was unpleasant. It led to, let's just say, it led to the financial officer face turning red, spittle running down the corner of his mouth, and ripping up a form that he had given me, and screeching in his car around the parking lot in a furor. It was like that was exactly what happened. Anyway, oh my God, go on to it. to now, 2016, I go to the dealership, I walk in the door and it's the same thing. There's somebody standing there right there in my face like, hey, how can we help you? I'm like, okay. Come here, sit at my desk. So I sit at his desk, Henry's desk. They don't call him salesman anymore. It's the product technician or specialist or something like that. Oh, well, that makes me feel more warm and fuzzy that you're a product specialist and not a car salesman. He says, first let me flip through he has a binder, he flips through it. The binder is full of pages that explain why the dealership he works for is the best, most kind and honest dealership in the whole world. Especially when he gets to the page where he says, we have one price, it's one price, and that one price is the price. And we do it that way to relieve the stress of buying a car. Then I smile and thank him. I said, well, yeah, it's always been pretty stressful. So I'm feeling like, oh, good, that's fine. There'll be one price, and it'd be easier for me to figure it out. I think I'm going to be there for an hour. I'm going to look at a truck. I'm going to get a price, and I'll have something in my head, and I can figure things out. Well, of course, it didn't work out that way. 3 hours I was there. So what do you want? He tries to figure out what I want. I said, well, I went to the website, your company website, and I want to look at the extended Colorado extended cab, because they don't make a typical standard cab. So he goes out and he brings a crew cab around. I'm like, well, the truck's too big. It's bigger than the one I'm driving now. They didn't say that right off the bat. It's just kind of looked at it like, holy crap, it's pretty big. So the first thing he does is he points out the camera in the tailgate of the truck. Like, that's a big deal. Like, I don't... That was the very first thing he pointed out was the camera. And I looked at him and I kind of chuckled that he looked at me, and I went, shrugged my shoulders, and he said, well, you can see when you're backing up to hook up your trailer. You can see the tongue. And I'm like, well, I've been hooking up my trailer for 25 years without a camera. And he got, oh, okay. And then he showed me the little step in the bumper you can step up. And then we go and we sit inside, and the seats are warm. And I said, ooh, seat warmers, that's nice. And he got a smile on his face, like he had found something that was agreeable to me. He can go on from there. And he pointed to all the levers and stuff. There's levers and a computer screen and door handle buttons and everything. And you turn the vehicle on, you're not even in it, and it turns on by itself. And he paused and he looked at me like I was going to love all this stuff. And I looked at him, I said, gosh, this looks like a lot of stuff that will break. And I could see the energy starting to drain out of him. And while it was draining out, I just compounded the entire moment by saying, you know, the radio, I haven't had a radio in a vehicle that works since my 1949 Hudson. And I could just see he yawned and shook his head, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to launch into my old man speech, but I would like crank handles and a manual shift. And he said, well, this comes in a manual shift. And I said, well, it does? It didn't say that on your website. He goes, well, it does. And I said, well, is it like a stick or a big stick, or it's like, and he goes, no, it's just like a car. I go, car shifter. So that was the end of it for Henry, although he knew he had to go through the whole thing with me. So he takes me back in the office, and he's trying to figure out, I'm like, well, I don't think I can fit this thing in my garage. It's awful big. And then he shows me the extended cab, which but I really wanted to see, and I like how the doors open on it. It still seemed kind of big. I'm like, well, I don't know. Does it come in a standard cab, does it? And I guess, no. And he goes, the Silverado does. And I go, oh, the Silverado, but that's a V8. He goes, no, it's not. It comes in a V6, or a V8 and a V6. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Can you show me one? So this is like a V6 Silverado with not an extended. You think it was a standard truck that many people would want. They have not one on a lot. Not one standard cab Silverado on a lot for me to look at. Well, we can, if you buy it, put it down, deposit down on it, we'll have one brought in. So then he takes me in, and he doesn't even know where the dimensions are in the book. I've got the book. He doesn't know. He brings the Fast Talker out because he hasn't even gone through the list of the models. I have no idea what he's talking about. The Fast Talker tries to figure out what I want. I'm like exasperated. I'm like, well, if I know the price on what you showed me, the extended cab and this regular cab Silverado, I can get some idea of where I stand on at least these two trucks. One of which I have no idea what you're trying to sell me, by the way, very little. So they go in the back room for 20 minutes. Now, I got to back up in the story because when I was sitting in the truck with the seat warmers, ooh, seat warmers were nice, and the backup camera, I'm like, I said, how much is this truck? And he holds up this piece of paper and he says, well, the MSRP, I can't remember the exact acronym, but something like that. Here's a price, but that's not our price. And I was very confused, look on my face, thinking that why is it the simple price on your sheet of paper, all right? So then we're in the room, and they go in the back room. They're gone for 25 minutes. I see a sign on the wall that says the Simple One price. As I'm sitting there for 25 minutes wondering why the Simple One price is so hard to figure out, 25 minutes you're in the back room with the financial officer trying to figure out the simple price. It's not simple. It's business as usual, it appears to me, at the time anyway. So then he finally comes out, and by the time he comes out, this is the other funny thing. I've read through the material that he's left in front of me, and I figured out what the model designations are, and how big everything is, and why, and all that. I know where that information is now, so I figured that out for myself. And he says, well, here's the price. We have to get it from another dealership, so we can't give you our price. And I thought to myself later, like, what do you mean? Why do I have to pay their price when you should be giving me a truck for your price? And then he tells me there's a $1,000 rebate, which I don't know where that came from. I think they just made it up to make me feel good. But you have to accept the offer in a certain amount of time or you won't get this price anymore. A little bit of pressure there. And anyway, they threw in the tow package, and I'm like, well, I didn't know what the hell. I've just got this. And what can we do for you now? And I'm like, now you can show me to the door because I'm going to leave and go away. And go work out to try to, wash this experience out of my system. Now, to be fair, when I got home, I did check the price online, and it's lower than the lowest end of this price spread, according to the one website I went to. Lower, with the tow package. It was a good price, but still, I gotta say, twice the amount of money, literally twice the amount of money I spent on the first house I bought before I moved into this place that I rehabbed. All right. And I know things are different now. Everything costs more, but I'm just saying it's super expensive, especially for a guy my age, whose the last new car he bought was $11,500. Like, way more expensive than that. Okay. So, there's a lot more energy in this video. I feel better now that I came down to remake it. Should we go to the records yet? No. Well, yeah, almost. But because of that confusion, I went to the Chevy dealer because it was like Motor Trend Truck of the Year or something like that. And sometimes these reviews, it's hard to get anything out of them because it's like, oh, this is a truck, but yet we like it because there's a stereo system with satellite and speakers in the bed of the truck. That's how they rate the truck highly. Instead of like, it's not going to, you can drive it for 10 years and abuse it, it's not going to break. That's what oh, you got electric everything. It's wonderful. I never understood that. Anyway, go on. There you go. Let's go to the records. I didn't even know if the story's finished. I may come back to it in a minute during the showing of the records. Let's start with this. The Jack Wild album. In the last video, I held this up and I said, who's Jack Wild? I have no idea, and I still don't. But I will still share with you the inside. When you flip this open, here's a pinup photo of Jack Wild. He's from Britain, the UK. And he was born in 1952, so you kind of know how old he is now. You know exactly how old he is. 1952. But this was something they sold so that the young girls could hang this up in their room, or back in the day, young boys were confused and trying to work through issues. I have nothing to say about that, except that I need to be fair in the modern age of when you talk about stuff like this. Especially like, why would anybody be interested in this? All of these details. When he's like, what? How old is he now in this? It says how old he is. How old is he? What the hell? What the hell? I can't remember. My God, I don't know. I'm going to make it up. Say he's like 13 years old. So a 13-year-old girl or boy, why would they be interested in maybe how tall he is? I'll give him that. The hat size? I don't think so. The head size? What the hell? Why would any kid want to know the head size of another kid? It gets worse, though. The neck. The neck. He's got a 14.5-inch neck. What the hell does that mean to a 13-year-old? The chest means nothing. Sweater size? Are you kidding me? Shirt size again. The waist, not important. The hips, and then they skip over the private parts. Why? Because it's for children. No, it's not. And they go right to the hips and the thigh and the calf. Oh, Jack Wild, how thick are your calves? It's a question that must be answered. And he's 85 pounds. He weighs 85 pounds. I don't know. He's into the wet look jacket, it says. He likes the wet look jacket just like in the photograph. He's suede in velvet. He really likes suede in velvet and the hat that he's got on. I don't know. It's just absurd. So anyway, in the last video I said I might feature something from this because it's so absurd, and I'm not going to because it's horrible. The poor kid, it's torture to listen to him. And I don't know what they were thinking. It's like, oh, well, the Monkees and the Beatles and all that, and that accent, and the girls will love the accent, but it's not. He's like Reeds. He speaks the music, he doesn't sing, and he does a good job speaking. Don't get me wrong, and maybe there's a Jack Wild fan that watched my video that's going to be, you're so mean and cruel. Manic Mark, why don't you remake this video? This video's not any good either. Alright, let's go on to the next record. It's the Marshall Family. Looks like a local record. Why? From the cover and the bad dresses and suits, the gospel suits and gospel dresses. That's why I bought the photograph. The photograph on the album, but it's not local. It's from West Virginia. So I actually don't have any gospel music from West Virginia, so it'll be interesting to listen to an example possible the style that may or may not come out of the West Virginia gospel style. Anyway, go on to the next record. It's Percussion, Playful and Pretty. This record came, it survived the mailing. I still haven't heard anything back from the dealer yet. I don't know. It'd be probably best just to let it go and then block me as a buyer. That's what I would do. But anyway, Bob Rosengarten and Phil Krause, the amazing Phil Krause, terrific 50s, in this case 60s, 1965, had a long career as a percussionist, doing in this sort of this mood, kind of easy listening type, swing, experimental period of music. All right. It's an Arthur Lyman album I don't have. I don't know if I should... it seems like Lyman and Denny are so well guarded by the digital music management system that my video could be muted if I play something from this. I don't know if I will or not, but I haven't researched that yet. I didn't research that. Okay. Let's go on to something else I thought might be interesting. It's Ruth Copeland out of Holland. Copeland? And there she's in a little mini skirt thing jumping around on stage. She looks like she sings a lot of sort of songs that make you grimace because she's grimacing in every photograph. I played a couple songs off of this and it's not good either. And here we go, Happy Time. Speaking of not good, records that are super boring to most people, it's on Jewel, which is a local label. It's Happy Time. Al Morgan, that's right, he signed his suit. Al Morgan signed his suit. Have a Happy Time with Al Morgan. That's printed for some reason. And then on the back, he signed it in longhand. Best wishes, Al Morgan. Well, Al had a top 50 or 40 or 50 hit with Jealous Heart that shot it straight up the charts to nowhere, okay? I think Deck or somebody gave him a record, he had a record, and then he just came back to Cincinnati and he did lounge, you know, and made just local records. It's all lounge. Hell, I should probably feature something from this, just so you know. And last but not least, this is the record that was graded as very good, minus. And just looking at it visually, I would have never done that. It looks like it's only good if you're lucky. There's some deep scratches in it. It's red. That ought to be worth at least a half a point. You probably can't see that. See, you could see that scratch. Look at that. Very good minus, and you could even see that scratch on the video, let alone all the other kind of imperfections that may or may not show. Anyway, but it's red. Don't you like it? Yes, I do. But mainly, it's all okay. I don't give a crap because it's got a fabulous cover. I like the artwork. Great artwork. So it may or may not. But it's just an organ, piano and organ player. And you need more instruments to make a Latin record than just a piano and organ or an accordion. You need instruments, unlike the ones that he has in glitter on his shirt, which I meant to point that out. That's a great shirt. I'd like to have a shirt just like that. I haven't worn my sequence jacket here in the Manic Mark show in a long time. It's probably overdue. I should have worn it today. It would have been a contrast between the ranting and the purple sequence jacket. I remember when I ordered that, I got it from Taiwan. It took literally over a month for it to get here. It was probably the last boat that came out of Taiwan. Everything's shipped in by planes now, isn't it? Well, once it comes over in a container ship. Don't they load it up? How do they do that these days? Why even go into that now? It's so silly to even start a discussion like that about the processes by which product is shipped from the factory around the world using boats and planes, right? Yeah, probably absurd. You need a better ending. I just cut out the part where I started to talk about shipping product from Taiwan over here to the States to the new ending, which is this ending.